that we use to visualize the ear when we remove earwax. And we also train ear professionals all around the world in endoscopic ear care. If you visit our website, www.clearwax.co.uk, you'll find, if you're in the UK, you can find your nearest Clearwax specialist by entering your postcode or your city or town, and from there you can arrange to book an appointment with your local Clearwax specialist. So we have a client here. I apologise for the slight lag. This video is just a slightly older one. I was just going through some archive videos on my hard drive, which I need to use because it's taking up memory. Some of these older ones, they do have a slight lag. I understand some people enjoy watching it with a slight lag. So it's accidental. I didn't do it on purpose, but yeah, enjoy. So this is the patient's left ear, and they attended with fully occluding earwax both sides. The earwax is very glutinous. The patient had been using hydrogen peroxide drops, and they developed a slight allergic reaction to this, and you'll see this at the entrance of the ear canal. Hydrogen peroxide drops are water-based drops, and they're slightly alkaline in pH. The human ear has a range, the human ear is acidic, and a range between 5.4 and 7.1 pH level, and earwax itself is a pH level of 6.1. So hydrogen peroxide drops are actually alkaline, so people can develop a bit of sensitivity to them, and this patient has at the entrance of the ear canal slightly there's a bit of eczema there, a bit of dry skin, and also hydrogen peroxide drops are water-based, and water is a big no-no to get inside your ear. The thing with hydrogen peroxide drops, I think hydrogen peroxide in different parts of the body, so you can use it for nasal douching. Yeah, it does have a really good effect, and it can break up earwax, but it doesn't dissolve it. And for me, it turns the wax almost into a mushy consistency, as you can probably see now. So this is some of the medial earwax. It's very mushy, which means it stains the ear canal wall and it can stain the eardrum. Nonetheless, eardrum's fully visible, patient symptoms have been alleviated. But yeah, I personally don't like hydrogen peroxide drops because the fact that it does turn the wax very mushy, it can block the suction probe, meaning that I have to constantly remove the suction probe from the patient's ear and use a cleaning rod. And you'll see that at the end of the procedure, you'll see an image of the cleaning rod. I don't often take pictures of that, but this cleaning rod is what we shove through the suction probe when it's blocked, and you'll see an image of it and you'll see how mushy the wax is. We're now onto the patient's right ear. So this wax is very lateral, it's near the entrance. You can see all the cilia. So all the hair follicles in the ear are located in the outer third of the ear canal. And so are the sebaceous and ceremunous glands. So these are the glands that combine with dead skin in the ear to form earwax. Ceremunous glands are a modified alpocrine gland, which is the same gland we have under our armpits for sweat. So ceremunous glands secrete sweat. Sebaceous glands secrete a substance called sebum, and sebum is a combination of saturated and unsaturated long chains of fatty acids, cholesterols, alcohols, squalene in the ear. So it's a very oily lipid substance, and we normally have the sebaceous glands on our hair follicles. So they are if you don't wash your hair regularly, you'll get a natural oil, which is actually has its purpose. So obviously you shouldn't be washing your hair every day, because you want some of these natural oils to lubricate the scalp and also the hair, moisturize it, lubricate it. And these are the same glands that are in the ear on the follicles, and combined they form earwax. So we've got the lateral part of the earwax out, just a bit more medial, and this wax is it's very, because of the hydrogen peroxide drops, it's turned it very mushy. So if this was olive oil, we would have sucked it, it would have come out in a big blob. I just persevered. I did put some olive oil drops a bit later on to this for the wax that was impacted on the eardrum, but this part is still moving out. So this is more of the medial wax, which is on the eardrum now. And you can just look at it and tell it's very mushy. And when it's mushy, it's a bit harder to vacuum. You can't use an ear hook or Jobson horn. The wax is too deep, too medial. You can't get the Jobson horn or ear hook in behind the wax because it is completely occluding the ear canal. So you're going to have to get it in between the wax and the canal wall, which can be very uncomfortable for the patient, and it's on the bony part. So the inner 2/3 of the ear canal, it's the bony part of the ear canal. It's literally a very thin layer of skin, measuring 0.1 millimeters, which is 1/10 of the thickness of skin that lines the outer third, the cartilage portion of the ear canal. And it's just very sensitive, so you want to avoid contact. And obviously, if you use a Jobson horn or ear hook here, you're going to probably make contact with the eardrum as well, because you're going to have to get in and behind. Crocodile forceps won't cut the mustard because it's a soft wax. You're not going to pull it out. So this is the remaining wax that's on the tympanic membrane, the eardrum. We can see the eardrum posteriorly, so the back part of the eardrum is visible, but there is some earwax inferiorly, and anteriorly. Anteriorly, you get the anterior recess, so the ear canal, the shape of the ear canal near the eardrum on the front part of the ear canal wall. You have a little hidden cravat, cave, whatever you want to call it, a recess. Well, the technical term is a recess, that's why we call it that. And you can get wax that's stuck in that recess, and also inferiorly, so at the bottom of the ear canal near the eardrum, we have a natural narrowing called the isthmus, and beyond that, the ear canal protrudes outwards. And you can get an inferior recess as well. So this is near the eardrum at the base. That is like a trench. So I'm just using some olive oil drops just to kind of change the consistency. When you use olive oil drops, sometimes you just have to go back into the ear and just vacuum some of the oil, otherwise it gets very blurry. So I've just done that. I've come back out the ear, gone back in. There was a bit of keratin there, the roof of the ear canal. Just removing all that. So you can see just how much it's changed the consistency, and it's just come out nicely, as opposed to the hydrogen peroxide drop. So the ear is very oily, very wet, hence why everything's a bit blurry, and you get a bit of natural staining of wax because it is soft wax. We're not interested in trying to remove all that. Just I'm just going to hover over the ear canal here, get some of the excess debris off the ear canal, but everything else we're going to leave. And you'll see in a moment the eardrum's all visible, it's healthy. Just doing a bit of mopping up, but I'm not going to try and get every little last speck. A bit of wax is good for us. I did a talk for some GPs and nurses and pharmacists this morning via Zoom. I described the function of the earwax, but I'll come back to that in a moment. You can see the cleaning rod. Where the Zollner suction probe is, you've got this rod in that plastic wallet. We insert that through the suction probe to unblock the suction probe if it does get blocked. Quite a fair bit of wax on that tissue. So I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Sorry if it's a bit, the lag and it's a bit blurry. That's just because the latter anyway, it's just because the patient had been using a lot of drops.